So I think the most pivotal question is, how did she fit the bulldog in her purse?
Right? A girl works that purse. It fit pretty snugly. I will say that. And she doesn't carry, I would say she doesn't carry many cosmetics. She's a low-key girl, so there was lots of space in that purse.
Were you excited to see that your character would be the one that would get to take down Brady?
Gosh. Well, I read the book. So when I got to that part, and I knew that I had the part at that point, I was like, I don't think I've ever been more of like a fangirl. I was like, go, 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 go. Yeah. Like, I was like, beat the shit out of him. Which is also crazy because I'm not like a violent person and I have a hard time watching violence. But it was like wildly satisfying reading that in the book and being like, I take him down? Whoa, okay. I hope I can do that with my little, like, tiny arms. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the evolution of your character. Like, she gets introduced about midway through.
Yeah.
And by the end, she feels like almost not a completely different person, but such a much stronger person. How would you say that you envisioned that and how you portrayed that?
Well, the script did such a good job of that, and like my dynamic with Brendan, I think that was the thing that was, I just kept a tab on how their relationship shifted, because that was the thing that allowed her to blossom, is her relationship with Jerome and Hodges really like creates a space for her to come into her own and be herself and show how capable she is. So the script itself provided that kind of space to do that work. And I also just tried to kind of think about, well, how the way that she spoke and moved would kind of play into that progress, I guess.
How do you see that going to the new season?
You'll have to see, but it definitely
Can you
does.
see something?
Yeah, I mean, they start a business together, Hodges and Holly. We start the season off where we started this kind of like detective business called Finders Keepers. So she's like a full-on businesswoman now. She's kind of like running the show. So automatically she's put in this position of power and strength, and she's getting to do something that she's really good at, which is awesome to watch. Yeah.
It was really powerful, that speech she gives where she's talking about the bullies, about how if he had just never said anything, his life would have been the same, but hers would have been totally different. Was there anything in that you found like resonated with you, or was like particularly touching?
Yeah. I mean, I dealt with a ton of bullying in elementary school, and I know it's kind of like, I mean, it's maybe too much information, but like, yeah, that stuff really does take a toll, and it's not like a light thing. It really can't, like, even like something as simple as someone calling you a name can be something that you're unpacking, and you're like, I'm like 29 years old and still being like, but that thing in 5th grade on the playground really fucked me up. I'm like, I feel weird that I'm still dealing with that, but I am. So for me, I mean, and her what she had to deal with as someone who's living with autism and is kind of on the fringe of society in a lot of ways, and kind of treated like an outsider, is even more of an extreme situation that I had to deal with. But yeah, no, it definitely, I was happy to dive into that, because it's something that, bullying is not something that, it's kind of dealt with in a broad way a lot of the time, or not even addressed at all. When it is, it's almost like part of like a goofy comedy or something. So I was really moved by that speech, and I really wanted to do service to it. So I'm glad that you liked it.
Going back to her bringing down Brady, that's obviously a really traumatic thing for somebody. Yes, he's a horrible person and she stopped something really violent, but she did something very violent and nearly took someone's life. How are we going to see that play out in her character? What can you tell us?
I mean, yeah, not much. I mean, I feel like you have to watch, because it comes out in a quiet way, which I loved. I like kind of, as the scripts were coming out, I was like constantly surprised at the way that they handle what it must, like how she feels about what she's done. And especially because Holly is not a violent person. And the way that she psychologically like, frames that whole thing comes out in the second season in a way that I was pleasantly surprised by and really interested in. So I really can't say too much more than that, but yeah, I'd say tune in for that. I hope that's helpful.
No, it's
yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, it's there. It's there. It's not like swept under the rug. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting you're saying that, and it kind of made me think about it. It's really like all of the core characters are kind of on the fringes and all kind of alone and end up kind of coming together at the end.
Yeah.
I think, how long are they going to be able to stay together? Like, do you think there's a natural tendency to want to pull apart?
I don't know. I'll have to see. It's so annoying of me, but it's true. I mean, I don't know where it's gonna go because we honor the structure of the books, but also kind of depart from them. I will say that, like, right now in this season, so far, at least when we start out, there's like a very special bond between Jerome and Hodges and Holly and then Ida, and you kind of see these people coming together in their pain and in their kind of in this struggle and going through these series of traumatic and kind of violent events, this obstacle course, and also the kind of like mundane nuances of life that are also really hard and maybe not as like, you know, hyperbolic, but are also like the quieter struggles of being a person, and they rely on each other in a way that's really like unique and also special. So we'll see if they get torn apart. I hope not, because I love them.
Leading to that, can you talk a little bit about playing opposite Jerome versus Hodges? How your character's a little different when you're in the room with
Yeah,
one of them.
yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Jerome is a peer from the very beginning. He's like a peer, but also he's a new kind of dude. Like, I don't think Holly's ever, like, from the very beginning, he trusts her to like be capable in a way that I don't think she's had someone have trust in her before. Like with this computer stuff, he immediately is like, yeah, you know how to do this, let's go. And Hodges starts out as more of a father figure, I think, or someone that she's kind of enamored with and wants to get close to and looks up to. And then both of those relationships kind of evolve into something different as the first season goes on and into the second season. But both of those people provide a safe place for her, and also like a place where they provide encouragement to grow, which I think is like a really, like, it's really cool to watch. At least I had a fun time watching, like seeing these two people treat her as an equal and embrace her and watch her step into those relationships was pretty cool.
Did you get to meet Stephen King?
I did.
How was that?
It was really cool. It was really, really cool. He's so nice. Like, immediately the first thing that happened was I was introduced to him and he was like, oh, nice to meet you. And then they were like, she plays Holly. And he goes, I love Holly. And I immediately was like, oh fuck, like I hope I can do a good job, like shit. But it was cool. He was so like excited to be there. He wanted to be an extra. Like, I don't know if you guys caught it in the first season, but he had that little moment. He was like very into it. So it was really neat. Yeah. All right, nice to meet you guys. Bye. Have a good day.